Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
No, Jack.
Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
All right, you got to get up if you want to get down. That's what they say, right? Welcome to the Jack Henke Show. I don't know where that came from. Yes, I was a DJ in a prior life. Welcome to the Jack Henke Show here on the CPL Radio online Facebook feed. We stream here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. And it's very nice for you to stop by and visit and check in with us, and we're always happy to check in with you. I don't know if you noticed, this is a Jackless episode. We don't know Jack. Jack had a family emergency, so he's got to kind of be a good son to his mom, and that's always important and a good thing to do. So just like that giggling you hear in the background, that's my kid, Jamie, and of course, you know, they have every interest of being a good kid to their old man dad. Occasionally, I say, you got to get me the remote.
Yes.
I can't reach the remote.
You really do.
You can't see Jamie, unfortunately.
Or your favorite when you're upstairs in your chair.
What about, oh no.
And you're very tired and you ask for your nice icy water at 10 o'clock at night.
I got an irrigator. I'll get crispy.
You will get crispy.
Unfortunately, can't see Jamie. There's no camera on them this morning.
I'll walk over and...
Oh yeah, come say hi. There you go. That's what, so we can put a face to a voice. So that is Jamie. Good morning. There we are. Running the front desk this morning at 10 o'clock at the Cedarburg Public Library, which is where we're broadcasting out. You've been doing that for a little while now. Since
3 weeks?
Has it been 3 weeks? Okay. All right. Since early July.
Yeah.
Well, mid to late June, I guess. So
maybe it's been longer and I just don't realize.
It goes fast. It goes fast. I've been here 7 years and it seems like a week. So there we go. All right. So we have no Jack today, as I mentioned. You're stuck with this is the Bulldog Hour. I like it. I like the sound of that. And what's my rhyme?
Oh, when your show is this packed, you don't need Jack.
So we're going to have, coming up at 9:10, we're going to have AJ Bocchini doing, give us a sports rundown. That's a new addition to the show since we've brought it back resurrected it from whence it came. And AJ will come on and give us the local and state and possibly even North American and world scene. So that's a good thing. AJ's here every day at 9:10. And 9:20 will be visited by the one, the only, Lisa Curtis. She from the News Graphic, your local town paper. That's today's issue, actually. I brought it in to have a visual cue. So I'll wave it around while Lisa's talking. And that'll be nice. Nice to see Lisa again at 9:20. 9:40 will be a visit from... I get her name right. Oh my gosh.
You keep forgetting.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. Laura Lewis-Barr. She's got a hyphenate, so it's Laura Lewis-Barr. She is a filmmaker who works in the Chicago area. Makes a kind of a stop motion animation is her canvas of choice. That's and cool. We'll talk. It is cool. Her movies, her short films are available on YouTube, and she does some public speaking, and she has a distinct interest in retelling of fairy tales and psychology and Carl Jung, and we'll talk about all of that good stuff in the 9:40 segment of the hour. So I'm going to try something new today since Jack's not here. We're going to make the show entertaining. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. No. Oh, no. I'm going to change up my news because the news has, since we've come back, I mean, the news was already kind of horrid and depressing when we had the show running, back in our regular our first season, if you want to call it that, before the hiatus. It hasn't gotten any better. In fact, I think it's got decidedly worse. I'm going to try to do maybe more like television, entertainment, movie news type stuff instead, because that's something I have an affinity for anyway, and I think that possibly it'll be a little more entertaining for the viewer too. You won't be interested in everything, and some of it's real inside baseball-y type stuff. Like I'll talk about box office numbers and things like that. But hey, I'll be having fun. So there you go. And if I'm having fun, there might be one or two of you that might have fun with it too. So I can live with that. All right, let's talk about the weekend box office. What do you think the big winner was, Jamie?
What? I don't know anything about movies. Minions, actually.
No, Minions. That's good. That's a really good guess,
because
actually.
People are going crazy over that on the internet.
They are. However, on the internet. I've heard
like
good
people
things
my
about
age.
the internet. No, actually, you would have been right if it had been for Thor: Love and Thunder's opening weekend. So I think Minions was last weekend. They did a pretty good showing, but not as good as this. Love and Thunder is hammering the competition at the box office. Their opening weekend, they're calling it north of $135 million, and that's a pretty good northern territory to be in. They tell me debuted over 4,375 screens, so that's pretty good, and it is actually a step up from the previous Thor movie Ragnarok, which opened to 122.7 million back in 2017. Yeah. So if the estimates hold, which is always an interesting thing to say, Love and Thunder will mark the 12th biggest debut for a Marvel Cinematic Universe entry between 2017's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is where I'm at in the great Marvel viewing that I'm trying to catch up, because we're both
behind.
Like pathetically behind. I mean, it's kind of an embarrassment for me, really.
It really is.
I should probably put a little more energy and effort towards that. But pretty good opening weekend for Thor. Critics have actually been a little less receptive. Ragnarok did very well with the critics because it had a real good tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. And this one, I guess, leans in even heavier into the jokes and the
Taika
yucks.
Waititi.
Right. Well, exactly. He's certainly known for his humor. Plus, for some reason, it's just inherently funny to see a guy who's like as cut and ripped and godlike as Thor act like a doof.
Yeah.
So,
it is very funny.
And Chris Hemsworth has pretty good comic timing, so it's kind of in his wheelhouse there. But critics not nearly as receptive to this one. It's currently holding a 51% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which that's one of those aggregate critic sites, and I don't always trust that number, and I think it's unfortunate that people rush off to Rotten Tomatoes to say, well, should I see a movie or not? Well, it's only 53%. I guess I won't. I think movies are being done a bit of a disservice by a review aggregate site such as that. And that is the end of my my commentary for the day. Not if
you'll also watch anything.
Well, I will. And
I like that. I think it's good to kind of watch bad and good movies. I
do. I mean, prior to Rotten Tomatoes and everything being so connected, you go to the movies, occasionally you get burned, but I think that's part of the experience. I mean, if you're always watching, if you're like, I will only watch great movies, I won't watch any bad ones ever.
Out of the good stuff.
I do. I think you're actually
you'll appreciate it,
and you don't know something that doesn't work for everybody, or critics might actually work for you. So I think that's an unfortunate thing, side effect of all this wonderful connectivity. But without it, there'd be no Jack Henke show. So I love all of this connectivity. I'm a complex person. Let's talk television a little bit here. The Emmy season is heating up. The nominations are actually dropping in about 20 minutes, so we won't have those for you on today's show, but maybe we'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. Interestingly enough, the Emmys are, if you don't know, that's the award for basically excellence in television, if you're not familiar with that. And there's no reason you would be if you're not into that sort of thing. But the Emmys are an interesting, they actually recognize the best American primetime programming, although that's not true anymore because they recognize quite a bit of streaming, and that's not prime time because that's going to show up, whenever you push play. So, but it's for programming airing between June 1st, 2021 and May 31st, 2022. So that's so all the shows this summer that I really enjoyed, like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Stranger Things, are not even under that umbrella. It's everything. But they do expect a lot of streamers to be the big winners this year, such as Ted Lasso and Barry, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, The Crown, Succession, Squid Game, Ozark. You watched Squid Game?
Yeah.
Did you
ever watch it?
I didn't catch up with it. No.
Oh, that's too bad. It was enjoyable. I liked it.
All right. Was it like as brutal as everyone says it was?
Absolutely.
Didn't even skip a beat. All right. Well, to keep the show moving on a good clip, I'm actually going to cut off my kid. Bye, Jamie.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by, because we're going to move things over to sports with AJ Bocchini, and we'll see what's going on that side of things. And AJ's been coming to us now. We did a full week of, mostly a full week. Actually, we didn't do Monday. We didn't do Monday this week as well. We had a rerun yesterday because Jack had something on his schedule. But AJ has been kind enough to come in and grace us with all kinds of good material from the sporting world. I do have a question for him. Not so much a question. I was looking at Today in History, and I got an interesting tidbit I want to bounce off him. So when AJ gets in the room, let's see how things are going. Looks like he's still trying to connect to audio. Oh, I think we got an audio connection there. And I think we're going to get a video connection real soon, too. We love Zoom. This week, we love Zoom. We're being nice to Zoom this week. Last week, I wasn't so nice to Zoom.
Hi, guys.
Good morning, AJ. How are you? Actually, singular, not plural. It's just me. Jack is out today.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. Really good to see you. Thanks for coming by and giving us the breakdown. So right away, right off the top, I want to ask you a question. Did you know, not so much a question, but I guess were you aware that on this day in 1979, at Comiskey Park, it was the White Sox and the Tigers, and they were doing a doubleheader. Between the doubleheader, they decided to do something called Disco Demolition Night, where fans would actually, they were supposed to like bring disco albums. They were going to blow it all up or whatever. Well, it became chaos. They had to cancel the second game because fans were rushing the field. So at that time, people were really at that point hated disco. They were just done to the point where they were, violent at Comiskey Park. Right. So I thought that was interesting.
No, right. I wasn't born yet, but I've seen videos, and yeah, that is. I think that is the same reason they don't have 10-cent tap night anymore.
Right.
So, yeah. So
people like to express themselves with their free gifts sometimes a little more than they should.
Right. That's why they don't sell. That's why they sell plastic bottles now instead of glass ones.
Right. Without a doubt. Absolutely. So what you got for us? What's cooking on the scene today?
So I got the men's Wimbledon final finished up. The men's and women's finished up over the weekend. Yeah. The women's Elena Rybakina won over Anne Jabeur. Mm-hmm. And the men's final was actually very compelling. It was 4 sets. Djokovic won, which is interesting because for those of you who don't know, Djokovic was allowed to play at Wimbledon this year, but wasn't allowed to play in Australia because he's unvaccinated. So that was. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. That was interesting. Not to get too political or anything, but
no, not at all. But it's interesting that he. I mean, that's just obviously a choice, and
yeah, right.
I mean, is he sticking to that choice still? I mean, because it could really affect ultimately his career.
Yeah, it really does. Because he's not right now. He's wouldn't be allowed to play in the U.S. Open either.
Right. That's interesting. I wonder how. I suppose ultimately lawyers might be called.
Yeah, ultimately.
Isn't that where it all ends up eventually?
Yeah. So we got that. Yeah. And then we got the Chinooks won last night, so they're 4-2 in the second half. Yeah. I was there last night.
Oh, nice.
I got rushed out by the rain, but it was.
I was gonna say it wasn't atmospherically the best night for baseball.
No, it wasn't. It was a good night for like the first couple hours, and then the rain came.
I have to say, it must have been spectacular being as close to the lake as that stadium is. I'm sure the clouds rolling in must have been a great air show.
It was for a guy, for me being in a power wheelchair, looking up at the sky saying, I wonder how long I'm going to be here.
Yeah, that's right. Might be time to wrap things up. I mean, and I know rain is no friend to ice cream. So if you were slinging ice cream last night, I could see that being a problem too.
Yeah, it was. So yeah.
So they took a split. I saw with my beloved Dock Spiders prior to the weekend. Is that correct?
That's correct. Okay. They split with the Dock Spiders, and I believe they split with the Mavs as well. Or maybe game 2's tonight.
Okay.
I know they play. I know they play a lot over the next couple of days with my brother's wedding.
Sure.
I'm off the schedule, but
yeah.
But I know they play a lot over the next couple of days. So
okay. Well, AJ, people are pushing the panic button regarding our Brewers. Are they being a little too jumpy on that button? What's going on?
I don't think it's time to panic quite yet. I think it is time to make a move somewhere. Yeah. Whether
I saw Hader's name was being tossed around. Is that going to be a deal? You think it's going to happen?
No.
Okay.
It better not. I mean,
you would think, that's just, and again, when I say tossed around, I'm saying on chat boards, not by experts. I'm saying by fans.
Well, that's the back end of your bullpen. So
yeah.
unless you're going to go with Devin Williams in the back end. Mm-hmm. But the thing about moving around pieces of your bullpen, you move around pieces of your bullpen, and it's like it changes everyone, not just one person's role. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a house of cards. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's time to they'll make a move somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'm pretty sure they'll make a move somewhere. Yeah. They got a big 2-game series tonight against they got the Twins this week, Twins and Giants this week. So it's a big week going into the break. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and this team, it almost historically seems like they get the mid-July doldrums, and it's just they kind of limp into the All-Star break. But on occasion, they've roared back on the back half. So
right. You're right. Yeah, right.
So I don't know if there's just a lot of dugout screaming that goes on, over the All-Star break or whatever inspires them.
I think it's just a lot. When you get towards the All-Star break, and it's like, man, we're getting like you get I can go. Half of them will go on vacation anyway.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's either you get really fired up because you're going to the All-Star game, or you get ready to make plans of vacation. Haters had his ups and downs, but I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. All-Star game coming up. What? Second to last week of the month? Is that
19th
correct? 19th. Okay, so it's coming up. That's been kind of a ratings disaster the last couple of years for whoever's carrying it. I wonder if that tradition will continue, because it's been a downward spiral for that. It used to be obviously a big ticket thing on television, and now people just kind of shrug.
Well, I think it's because people, you don't see everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like when my dad was in school, you used to see everybody, see all the good players, and now it's the lack of name recognition, I think, is really hurting the sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you recognize the names, but you don't see them every year.
That's true. That's very true.
You don't see like the Mike Trouts of the Yankees, or the Brewers don't play the Yankees, or the Brewers don't. Or they do this year, but they don't play them every year. So
without a doubt. Do you think also maybe the over-connectivity of everything? Like, we're at a point now where, like, with ESPN and cable and streaming and satellite and whatever, that, the All-Star game was really special back in, like, the 50s, 60s, and 70s or whatever, because people could you didn't get a chance to see those teams and those people, so it was really special to see them in your market on television. Whereas now, anybody can watch any game. The ESPN game of the night is every night, so it's not as unique.
I agree. I totally agree. I think that us seeing everybody on every platform of media, I think that hurts the game a lot.
Yeah.
The thing with baseball too is in my opinion, you have so many games to watch, so many games to see. Every other sport, every game is an event.
Yeah. Right.
It's appointment TV viewing because there's not so many of them.
Right.
Where I can miss a Brewer game and still catch up to see what the score is the next day.
Absolutely. Yeah. The sport's going to have to deal with that in some way. Amongst other things, it's just like the things that used to work might not be working so good here in 2022, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, any other tidbits for us before we move off to our next segment?
Just a local thing.
Yeah.
The Sheboygan A's have won. I think the last time I checked, the Sheboygan A's have won 17 games in a row.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
And they're in that are they in that Northwoods? No,
they're not in the Northwoods League. They're in a different league. But
okay.
I just thought that was a local thing.
That's great. Wow.
So, yeah.
We'll have to track that. I'd like to see if that how far that streak goes.
Me too.
Absolutely. Very cool. Excellent. Well, AJ, thanks for stopping in and getting us all up to date. You got anything cool coming up? I mean, you have your family wedding obviously coming up, but anything cool going on for the rest of the day?
No. I think I'm starting to coach. I'm starting to coach one of my the manager of the group home, his daughter. I'm starting to coach her tomorrow.
Oh, cool. So, great.
So I'm starting to coach her tomorrow. So that should be fun. And then we got the big family wedding this weekend.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah. Wild time. Excellent. Well, we'll be checking with you tomorrow again, I'm sure. And as always, thanks for coming in and educating me. I always, whenever your segment's over, I actually feel like I could hold my own at the water cooler for the rest of the day here at work.
Right.
So you're making me look cool, and that's a tall feat, believe me. So much appreciated. Have a good one, man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Bulldog.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.
All right. That is AJ Pocchini with our sports wrap up for the morning. And I hope you are feeling as educated as I am. And that is good. Let me see here. I actually am not educated on Zoom. I'm doing all the right buttons here. Wrong buttons. We got to let in Lisa Curtis. Lisa is our roving reporter. I don't know if she roves. I'll have to ask her if she roves. But she of the News Graphic. She is the numero uno honcho over there, and we have her. Oh, we have no camera though. Lisa, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Although, yeah, I hear you really good. Yeah, but video's not so good. I have a picture of a camera with a line through it, which is just violent. There is actually yeah. Call the IT staff. Nope, you were close. Oh, okay. Now it's all right.
I keep clicking on now the line is through it right now. So now, let me click on the arrow. Integrated camera. Choose.
Yeah, integrate. You must integrate.
I am. I'm an integrator. I'm a follower.
We've been saying that about you for years.
Wow. What do you?
I mean, we can get through it, but because of but it's a bummer.
I look cool today. I mean,
oh no!
I'm just kidding. I don't.
You went the extra mile for us.
I was thinking this morning, like, man, I really hate getting ready in the morning, and then I was doing my hair, and I'm like, imagine if I had a normal person's hair instead of like.
I had almost all of mine hacked off yesterday at Great Clips. It was awesome.
Oh, it feels good, doesn't it?
Oh man, no, I was. Yeah.
Sorry, I have before we forget a tidbit on this whole Chicago White Sox discussion.
Oh, the disco craze.
Yes,
yes.
I think you overlooked the part where people were having sex on second base.
This is true.
That's what my sources say.
Well, geez, maybe they should have redubbed the night then instead of burn your disco night. They should have just called it.
Don't you think they were having sex on the wrong base though?
Right. Well, hey, second base is better than first. They tell me. That's what they tell me. That's what I've heard. The word on the street. I didn't find that in the News Graphic today. However, that second base is better than first base. Absolutely. No. So, well, barring seeing you, which is a bummer. How are you?
Good. Getting settled in. since
fantastic. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay, cool. Yeah. As you can see, we have no Jack today. Jack's mom had a little bit of a
What's
fall.
The real story?
So
what's the real story, though?
no, I swear. Well, I mean, as much as a text can tell me, that is the real story. I don't know. I can't go much deeper than that until we get some of your people on
right.
it.
Well, we can make stuff up.
You send Christina over or something to find out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Melanie. I see she's a special to the news graphic. I see her on the front page this morning. Melanie Boyoung. Is that the right name? Okay.
Boyoung.
That's
Boyoung.
Okay.
Boyoung.
Okay.
And guess what?
Yes.
I hired a new reporter, and he started yesterday.
Oh, cool. How's it going so far?
Great. He didn't quit, and all indications are he's going to come back again. So
you showed him the coffee maker in the bathrooms.
Yeah, exactly.
Day one is in the books.
He was over. He went to Out and Out for their macaroni and cheese for lunch. So
that's important.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah. So
I really wonder why my camera isn't working.
That's depressing. Yeah.
It
so
is. I know.
It's but by next Tuesday we'll this is called bringing you back to the fold slowly. We're just inching you in. Yeah. Audio first, video later, 3D, IMAX. we're gonna get this moving along. Well, cool.
Yep.
So yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're doing something with CPL for kids. Is that today?
Today, yeah, at 4:00 we do something called CPL Kids Radio, and the kids come in and take over the station, and it is fun and cool and as chaotic as you can imagine. So if you like hearing chaos on the radio, tune in actually we don't go live till 4:30. We spend the first half hour laying the ground rules, like no underarm farting noises, Okay, well, one. You can do one. All right.
Yeah, like, what is this? Suck the fun out of it.
We negotiate a lot of things. They're like, oh, but I really, really want to talk about boogers. And I'm like, okay, we can do 2 minutes of boogers. And they're like, what about 3? Okay, we'll do 3. So it's a big negotiation. It's great because it really much kind of resembles, I think, the kind of conversations that go on at like Cumulus or iHeartRadio, but like with farts and boogers.
It's
with farts and boogers.
Drive time. It's a show.
Right. I think so. So, but it's a lot of fun. You can actually, we have past episodes posted on our podcast page, and we edit them down a little bit. So, cause we play a couple songs. The kids always want to bring their favorite playlists. So we play music. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I've been, I brought the calendar back, the community calendar.
Yeah.
And I put that in there, but I didn't realize it was a regular thing. So
it is. Yeah. And that's my fault, if anything. It's not you. I mean, I need to communicate to you better the things that are going on in the radio world, and I will do that. So we will discuss, and you can, kind of cherry pick what you want to.
Yeah, that's cool. Because I do have somebody now who I'm just sending the calendar stuff to, and she's formatting it for me. Because I could spend a lot of time on that calendar.
God, I can't even imagine. Yeah. Of course, as you mentioned in the paper today, I believe tickets are now available for the big Cedarburg Star Wars Fest. So I'm like, losing my, what over that. I'm losing my lightsaber over that. That's going to be amazing. I mean, that'll just be. I think our town's going to be overrun because it's so rare. And only film dorks like me know this, but it's actually extremely rare for anyone to be able to screen, do a public exhibition of the Star Wars movies. Those are all owned by Disney, and they do not let whatever Maggie did. I don't know if she mailed them a scorpion or what she did to make this happen.
Somebody's been on the Nextdoor app. Did you see that one?
I try not to be anymore. It's too many people die with the Nextdoor app.
I mean, people say it's too political, but I don't. I guess I must be avoiding it.
Smart. Well. No, that's.
I don't find the political stuff on there too much. So
that is a blessing.
There was a woman though took a picture of something that looked like a scorpion, but it didn't have the funky tail.
Right. Yeah, not a lot of scorpions around here naturally. Of course, we do have alligators now. You saw that from last week. That little tidbit.
Wait,
where? It was
not around here.
Yes, I think it was an exotic pet that got loose. So somebody who was housing a full-sized alligator, apparently it may have either, who knows, maybe they let them out and just said, I don't want them anymore. So yeah, he was hovering around in some reservoir somewhere. Was it South Milwaukee or?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. When I say around here, I mean my coverage area. Oh.
You're like, how did I miss this? I can't believe it. Why am I hearing this from Bulldog of all people?
I'm just playing the role of Jack today.
That's right. Well, we need someone to light into me a little bit here, most importantly, since your last visit was a while ago, I have to ask, how is the real superstar? How is Sushi?
Sushi? Oh, she's grand.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. She's taken well to the outside cats coming in.
Oh, okay.
They don't live, but they visit. And
all right. They're leasing with an option to buy.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's kind of how they all are.
Gosh, there's really not much else, going on.
Well, yeah, there's not a whole lot. When you ask, how's your cat? I don't expect a litany.
I know you ask somebody like whose cat is like too much,
right.
They find anything, well, her poop was a little stinky today.
I don't think I want to start the litter box report here on the Jack Henke Show.
I was having a conversation about you without specifically talking about you.
I love that.
A good friend texted and said that she has a pug who's only like 2 years old, so she's like crazy, and then her daughter brought her dog over and another dog, so she was like, this was a terrible weekend. And I said, I just don't understand people who have multiple pets. And then I said, and then they usually also have a lot of kids.
Well, that I don't understand. I mean, I did it, but but I don't understand.
It's like, hey, wait, that's Jeff.
Yes, it is. It is.
Kind of person.
Although the bulk of them are away at camp for 30 days. So I just have two of 5 in town right now. So it's been a quiet summer. Yeah, it was nice. Nice for them
because more time with you.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, it's not that people always say, "Oh, it must be great to, have all the quiet in the house." I'm like, no, it's really for the kids because they're just thrilled to be away from us for a little while. We're particularly annoying people, so we grate on everybody. So can you imagine living with this? So yeah,
take your time. Same camp for a month.
Yes. Yep. 30 days. Ship out.
I watched
Are you going to bring up Jason Voorhees right now? A hockey?
It's called Quarry Lake, I think, and it's weird.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so it's a video game that you can set to actually be a movie.
Yes.
Thank goodness she keeps me relevant. But and then I was like, who stays at the same camp for that long? And then it took me a while. They were the counselors, but.
Yes. The chef, the cook. Well, no, chef is probably not the right cook, not chef. I don't think they have chefs.
She's like, do you want me to set it to everyone living or everyone dying? And I'm like, well, that's a hard choice.
Not for me. I always like, no, eradicate. No.
Everyone dying.
I need a quiet place to read, even in video games. So just kill everybody off, So, hey, big story on your, I have it right here. It came in the mail this morning very promptly. It was a beautiful thing.
That was interesting to do. Very.
Yeah. And it's funny because I remember being, I think it was at Memorial Day or whatever. And a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And
I think I just happened to look up, which is not something I normally do. And I said, oh, I'm not used to sharpshooters being on top of like Armbruster jewelry. So things have changed. So obviously that's a sign of the times, and and we could debate the merits of that forever. But it's good that people are talking about this, and I'm glad to see that Cedarburg and the surrounding areas are at least have this thought, and I'm sure they do twice as much now, but they're being proactive, and now you have to be. So
yes, yeah. And there were just like a lot of layers. Each one had something so interesting to say, like the Thiensville police chief just saying how afterwards it's kind of emotional, that, the stress of, okay, something going to happen, and then they make it through. And,
absolutely.
An event without incident, and
Yeah, I'm sure those guys. I mean, they they go through the type of training where they know what's possible. And I can't imagine that when those events come up, there's a little bit of stress, a little bit of internal, your guts turn a little bit. And, we as the spectators who have a, face full of snow cones and corn dogs are thinking about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
but less so now, I think there's definitely a lot more anxiety.
Oh, if just in general. Yeah.
Don't skip, I'm sure there are some, but.
Oh, absolutely. We're not helping here at the library. We got like so many books right now on just like worst case scenario stuff. I'm like, can we get a book on gardening or something? It just you don't know when these things publish, so they cluster up. And I remember just opening a box a couple of weeks ago, and they're really popular too. They all go out. They're all holds galore. So it's not like it's a problem for us numbers wise. But I'm just like, man, all of this in one day. I was like, this box from the distributor. There was more carnage in this box.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. And then it's like Stephen King's at the bottom or something. You're like, oh great, great! Just what we need is this guy chiming in right now. So fun stuff. Oh my gosh! So, what you got cooking? What you got cooking for Thursday?
What do we have cooking? There's a lot. There's a development coming. Christina's working on it.
Okay. The development, yes.
Story, but she wanted to wait until the Common Council took it up. There's a lot of houses. I don't remember how many.
That's over on 60, right? Is that where it's going to wind up? Or no?
I'm not sure. I really, sorry. Okay. I've got my brains in so many places.
Sure. Absolutely. No, I hear you. I wonder if the council's taking it up, do they do another one of those like TIF tax, umbrella things?
I don't know. It's the business park. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
If they need it, but you know what? There's something, and again, I haven't had time to look, but Thiensville met last night and they're going to meet again tonight, and they're talking about they have a TIF district. They're doing a lot in Thiensville, right on Main Street, right. Crossing where they're so they're going to have like Hawthorne Square
as long as they don't touch Chuck's place. If that place I will there's very little that'll get me out in the streets with signs and placards and Molotov cocktails. But if you touch Chuck's place, we're in big trouble, Thiensville. So don't even.
I think you're safe. I think everyone loves that as much as you.
Well, we're passionate fans. So yes.
They're on their agenda, and see, I poor new guy yesterday, and it's just like
just throw him to the wolves.
Look at the internet. Just look at fill your paperwork. But I'll go over that today. But they had something on there. Oh well, look at this. Oh, you don't have a camera. A ginormous dog just walked in
to your office
at work. Yeah,
I'll have to take your word for it. You could say whatever you want at this, but you could say a giraffe walked in, and I'd believe you.
It's fair. It's probably closer to a polar bear. But, so they're talking. I don't remember how they called it, but it was almost like a super TIF or something like
a super TIF.
It's not that, but it was something very intense within.
Oh my! So that's like Johnny. That's like Johnny Depp's mega pint. The super TIF. I don't think I want to live in a town that has a super TIF.
I gotta find the description so I don't
yes
don't start any rumors.
Yes, we don't want I don't think you want you to be the news. You want to report on the news.
Right. Yeah, I did over exaggerate it. It's called a premier economic district within the TID 2 boundaries.
So it's a PED.
So
it's a PED, not a TIF, a premier economic district.
The premier, yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have to look into PEDs and see what that's all about. We'll work on it for next week. Let us know.
We will. Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I cannot tell you how excited we are to have you back. So is this Tuesday?
Thanks.
Is this going to work for you on Tuesdays?
I miss you guys so much.
Absolutely.
I want to say that I dig your girl, Jamie.
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, she's just cool. But when she said ice water at 10 o'clock, I'm like, ding. Yeah. is my life. 10 o'clock, time to go upstairs, grab my ice water.
We're also trained. So we'll be seeing you on, but going forward, we'll be seeing you on Tuesdays, right? This will be your main slot.
The best one? I just was kind of messed up last week. If you want me Friday, whatever you want.
No, I love this. This Tuesday's great because actually you have a paper that drops on Tuesday, so I hear.
That's true.
And so we can talk about, fresh stuff on that Tuesday. So I think that works out really well. I like it.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right,
cool.
and we'll get my camera fixed.
Yeah, go give it a good whack. Whatever it takes,
It's kind of good without Henke here. Maybe we should just ditch it.
I was saying this morning, I was singing, it's Bulldog. It's, Bulldog Hour. I like the sound of that. It just sounds like,
it is. It's
like Churchill or something.
Yeah,
it's more manly. I'm using that one on Jack tomorrow. I like that. Lisa said the Bulldog Hour is more manly.
All right.
Well, go check out that dog issue you have over there, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, bye, Jack.
That's Lisa Curtis from the News Graphic, our own Ozaukee County newspaper, trusted source of news since 1883. And that is Lisa. We're having a fun show today, folks. We have people coming and going and going and coming. Actually, we're going to kick it over to Chicago now, the Chicagoland area. We'll find out exactly where in Chicago our next guest comes from. This is Laura Lewis-Barr on her way in, flying in from O'Hare via the internet. And we'll hopefully see her shortly when Zoom catches up to her. And she is a filmmaker. I guess I can call her a basement filmmaker if I was reading her bio right. Good morning, Laura. How are you?
Hi.
It's so nice to see you.
I've been stuck in the dungeon of the waiting room.
It is a bit of a dungeon. I try to put magazines out, and and tap water. But, we do what we can.
Yeah, right.
So you are located exactly in Chicago, or are you outside of, or?
I'm 5 blocks from the city limit. I'm in Elmwood Park.
Very nice. Okay. Excellent. Cool. So, I was kind of turned on to your stuff by just kind of looking around and seeing local filmmakers and stuff like that. And you are a stop motion filmmaker of all things, which is fascinating and wonderful. And I had a chance to look over some of your movies, your shorts, doing shorts. Yeah, absolutely. And your most recent works, especially, I gave a glance to, and I love the fact that you are repurposing Barbies, as far as I can tell, the Barbie line. There's one right there. That's great. Is that a character in a future film or a?
It's possibly my next film. I'm
starlet.
debating. Yes, yes.
I didn't know we were having a megastar on as well as yourself. Well, megastar enough, of course, but that's great. So are you in the process of scripting the next, or is the script done and you're just doing like pre-production type things?
Scripting.
Okay.
Scripting. Yeah, and my problem is I have 2 ideas that are sort of fighting for dominance, and I have to figure out which one to go with. But,
that's the hard part, isn't it? That's the hard part, is like deciding what's the right one to go with, what one will keep you engaged long enough to make it to fade out to the credits, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. I do a fair amount of I've been a screenwriter for 30 years actually, excuse me, and I try to play with the Hollywood stuff, and I send it out west, and I collect rejections, and I have an amazing, like you have a collection of Barbies, I have an amazing collection of rejections. So
I'll tell you, when the pandemic hit and I was stuck at home, it was amazing to step away from the gatekeepers.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you could do whatever you wanted. And then it's like, oh no, is it good enough? Because there's no gatekeeper telling me
right.
Good enough.
Right. Isn't it amazing how the pandemic defanged the gatekeepers? They used to be these, horrible monsters at the gates. And now after the pandemic, it's like, we don't need you. You're not scary anymore.
Right. To make stuff on our own is amazing.
It is. I did a couple of short films myself, live action. I would love to work in animation, of course, because I love the control aspect. I'm sure you're finding that out too, is the fact that your actors don't give you any problems. There's no unions. I don't know if Barbies have unions. They probably will soon, but I mean, it's exciting. And I just, when I was looking at your films, I was really just kind of warmed by them, because I thought, here's someone who's doing exactly what they want in film. And that's kind of the dream. I mean, in some ways, isn't it?
So true.
Yeah,
exactly. But it is scary because I'm alone in it, and
yes,
I'm
you're exposed.
I'm on the right track. Yeah,
right. I mean, it's almost as much as like saying you're an author of like novels or whatever, because again, you have the buck stops only with you. And in film, that's rare. You could always like the movies I made, and I'm sure I've done this because I'm working in film. I hope I don't have too many snake-like tendencies, but maybe in conversations I'll say, "Oh, the director of photography really screwed that." So you can just throw people under the bus haphazardly because it's such a cluster of people. Whereas you're it.
Right.
That's
right.
Cool. That's both cool and scary. I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. So give us some of your background. How did you get to this point? I mean, the short version, because it's got to be a fascinating story that could take up a whole show. So.
Right. Well, I was in the theater. That was my life.
Yeah.
I did the theater. I taught, I directed, I wrote, and I tried to get produced. I did get published. And then one of my scripts was made into a film. And
that's great too.
My gosh. Yeah. But I realized that film lives on forever, and theater is over at closing night.
Yeah.
And I love the theater. I think it's a profound place to be, but I'm not sure. I'll go back maybe, but
sure.
Film is.
It's addictive. It is very, once you've done it once, and even with all its problems, because again, I'm sure even on your short films and, on paper, they're beautiful and, and then when you start to get down to your basement and a light bulb burns out or whatever happens, or, you can't get your blocking with your cast, falling. Right. I was going to ask you that. How do you get those? Do you use like tacks without pulling the curtain back too hard?
Yeah.
How do you get them to stand still?
So it's weird with women Barbie dolls. They have the feet, right? I gave them amputations and I put magnets on the bottom of their feet.
Awesome. That's great.
And it's a metal stage.
Sure. That's great. That's fantastic. See, again, the ingenuity of what you're doing is really exciting too, and that sort of thing. Even though, again, I don't recommend most directors amputating the feet of their performers. I would just like to put that out there right now.
Yes, right.
As powerful as directors feel, you still can't do that. So yeah, it's so funny too because people think you say movies, and I let some people know I was having a filmmaker on today, and they're thinking right away they flash to Netflix or multiplexes, dinosaurs, costumes, superheroes, that sort of thing. And it's like, no, this is a very specific and special, and it's homemade cinema, really. And I think that's what you call it. And I like how you call them films for discussion, reflection, and laughter. And that's great. I mean, that's just something that's I think we need more of, all three of those. And so I was actually a production thing. When it comes to what comes first, do you record the dialogue and then match the images to the dialogue, or are you doing a little of both? Is it whatever works for the scene?
I generally am finding that dialogue first is the best way of going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you do like a table read type of thing initially?
So the pandemic taught me that I can have actors around the country send me tapes. It's a drag. Great. It's much more labor intensive.
Yeah.
I also do a lot of the voices myself.
Cool.
Because, I find that I like to rework the stories as I'm working them. And that's hard with actors to say, can you do me more voice? Can you get me more voice?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
problems that places like Pixar would have, and Sony DreamWorks and all those, big animation houses. You have the same dilemma of having someone performing to one of these things. I mean, so yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So great. So I have to say, the miniatures and the dolls and the costuming, it's really impressive when you look at it. Your house must just be this gigantic like prop shop. It's almost like a small scale like garment. So how does all that stuff come to be? I mean, how much of that are you finding out in the field? Are you buying new? How does that work out?
I try to buy used, and one thing I discovered as I started is you can buy a Barbie anything. Like I bought recently a Barbie treadmill. I had a little film where she's on a treadmill. You can buy a Barbie anything, but I do make things. I made for one of my recent films, I made a fake lobster dinner, and I don't know. I just figure it out.
So it's like like scrod, like fake. It's not real lobster. It's like it's just whitefish or something.
It's something red.
Looks the same, or something red. Sure, absolutely. That works out well.
Yeah.
So you've done the film festival circuit a little bit with these, correct?
Yeah, it's super exciting. And I want to say to your listeners that short films, if they're not familiar and go to a festival, there's such a blast. Like short stories, there's a lot packed into a short amount of time. And this fall, well, I have one in August, one in September, one in October.
Whoa.
Oh, 2 in September. One of my films will be in Poland. So it's super fun.
Wow. That's fantastic.
They have been around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Again, from your basement to the world.
And like from your brain.
Right.
Your brain thought of an idea. That's what's blowing my mind.
Yeah. I mean, just bringing it to fruition from seedling to a film in Poland. I mean, that's just a remarkable thing. So cool. And you have so you say you're in the scripting process now. When do you think you'll be back in the basement?
Good question. My scripts are short.
Yeah.
Even though it takes a long time to make these films, obviously. Yeah. But so hopefully August.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Are you finding the more you've made that the production time is getting a little faster, a little easier, or do you get more grandiose and you're like, all right, I'm going to do like 9 settings this time, or I did 9, now I'll do 15. I mean, how do you balance that?
Both are true. What you just said, and what I find weird about my process is that the writer me creates whatever she wants.
Yeah.
And then she hands it to director me and says, figure it out. And director me's just like, what the hell? I'll make a lobster.
Having written and directed a 19-minute film 10 years ago now, it's funny how annoyed director me was with writer me. I was like, what did this idiot, someone call the writer. I need to take a meeting with the writer. Excuse me. So
exactly.
It's interesting.
But I think it's brilliant because if you keep them separate, the writer can serve the muse in a way that needs to happen. And I think the best results for me happen when I'm in that stuck place. Yeah. When the director me goes, how the hell am I going to solve this? And I learn something usually at that moment about what film can do, what I can do with this medium. When I first started working with green screen, then wow, I can do anything.
Yeah, you can see the setting change at that point. It's like, this film will be set in Tokyo, and I'll be in my basement in outside of Chicago. So that works out well. That's great. That's exciting. So do you ever consider maybe leaving the plastic actors behind and working with some live actors at some point in the future? Or are you really just kind of dialed into what you're doing now?
Yeah, dialed in. Yeah.
That's great.
If
Total
someone
commitment.
gave me a bunch of money and said I could do live action, I don't know if I could go back.
Just make 3 times as many, stop motion things that you're doing now. So that's great. Right. That's really exciting. It's funny. I was in film school in the early 90s, and someone had done, it was when I saw your films, it harkened back. Someone had done a lot of stuff like what you were doing. Not nearly as, they were just kind of, experimenting. But I thought even then, man, this is really, more people should take advantage. And when I saw your films, it was so funny to flash back to a lot of the film exhibitions, and someone had taken, I don't know if it was Barbies or action figures or whatever, and they were just making whole, complete point A to point Z stories out of them. And I thought, this is a missed opportunity for just filmmakers to test, just to test their stories out and see what develops. So that's really cool.
That's a great idea. Where did you go to film school?
University of Milwaukee, UWM. So it was in the 1992, I believe, is when that was. So I think we were still using 16 millimeter film at that time. Yes, winding the old Bolex camera. So yeah, it wasn't. People get romantic about that stuff. It was all horrible. We're in such a good place now with all the digital stuff that any nostalgia for that kind of film is like. No. It was slumming it. So it's nice to you can get such good images now, and the cameras are so much smaller, and I imagine for what you do, just to get it in there in the scenes is much easier to do too. So yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Well, that's great. So let's talk about where people can find your work. LauraLewis-BarrFilms.com is where I looked at a lot of stuff, correct? Is that the main hub, you would say?
Yeah, that's a fantastic place. They'll hook into my YouTube link where I'm putting a lot of my films, so they can see those films there. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Very cool. Excellent. I notice you're tackling a lot of using fairy tale and Jungian theory and stuff, and you're not. These aren't. This isn't Die Hard on a metallic table here, guys. This is actually, you're tackling some pretty good stuff that we need to think about, and characters that are going through it.
Yeah, they're on the hero's journey, man. They are all on their hero's journey.
Totally, absolutely. As are you. Yes, I mean, it's really great. True. It's really exciting. So I wish you enormous luck with all of the films coming up, and we're going to keep tabs on. I'd love to have you back too to check in and see how things are going. And definitely appreciate being on today. So thank you. It was a joy to meet you, and let's talk again.
Thank you so very much. Such a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you. Laura Lewis-Barr. Check out our films at LauraLewis-BarrFilms.com. And Laura, take care. You have a good all right. So that was our Jackless Jack Henke show for the day. And feel free to send in your reviews, your grades. You can give me a C- if you want. I can live with that. Give me lots of headroom, a lot of room to improve, right? If you give me an A, then Jack might not be back tomorrow. No. He's an important linchpin to the show. You know what I didn't do at the top of the show? I jumped right in. I forgot to talk about our wonderful underwriters, the people who help make this show happen. So let me do that in the last few minutes here. Let me tell you about Mr. Bob's Under the Bridge. They are a terrific organization here. They're always looking for donations. I believe Saturday morning are when they do their outreach. I believe Monday is still. Let me just make sure if that's correct. Mondays are the big donation times. Let me just make sure. Usually Jack does this and it kind of rolls off his tongue. Here we go. They accept donations at their facility on Monday evenings from 4 to 6 p.m. and Thursday evening from 5 to 7. And their location is at 2360 Dakota Drive in Grafton, Wisconsin. So you can get directions on their website, MrBobsUnderTheBridge.org. And they are, I hear last time Jack was stressing that they're in dire need of socks right now. So if you have a pile of socks that are just laying there in the closet, not being worn, and they're gently used, I imagine, well, go on down to Mr. Bob's and help them out. Java House. That's what I'm drinking this morning. And speaking of, here, maybe I can open up Jamie's mic. You ready to go back on mic again for a little bit? All right. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, you are there. Fantastic. So you tried this morning for the first time. You are a chai latte fan in general. How is the chai latte iced? This is your first ice. You like it? Would you do it all the time, regularly?
I think since it's hotter out, yes. I definitely prefer it warm.
You do prefer it warm. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
But it's still really good.
Of course. Well, it's a Java house, so it's fantastic. Charming atmosphere, lovely conversations, caffeinating Cedarburg since 1992. And Lord knows I got through this morning's show very well because of Lisa and the gang who was working. Actually, Ellie was working this morning. It was nice to see her again. Haven't seen her in a while. And I think Julie was up there putting the drinks together. So very exciting. Java House, our friends here in Cedarburg. I'm not going to do the screen share stuff. You guys have seen the website 1,000 times, so we'll just go there. Mel's Charities here in town. Great times for great causes. What they raise here stays here. And as Mel likes to say, they're just getting started. And they're going to get started big time this weekend. July 14th to 16th is one of their premier events, Melapalooza. Melapalooza, big hits for Mel's Charities. And that is going down at Centennial Park in Grafton. We'll hopefully be out there, Jack and I, Friday night. The softball and live music is really the main focus of the weekend. The Rod Wilterdink All-Stars, they take the field at 6 p.m. First responders take the field at 7:30. That would be the Cedarburg versus Grafton first responders. So, yeah, that's always fun show, I'm sure. 7 o'clock, 4-time Whammy Award winners, the Squeezettes. I'm not sure. I'm assuming there are accordions involved with that band, so they will be squeezing something. Hopefully an accordion. But Jack and I and Scott and Jamie, you're going to be out there too. You're coming out there with us, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Coming out and be our kind of production help and get us all set up out there for the big event on July 15th. Come on down, insult Jack, and then feel free to tell me how terrific I was today on the show. Yes. I have no hubris. Anyway, one more thing I want to talk about before we sign off. I will do a screen share for. Hang on. Let me bring that up. No audio for that. That is the Cedarburg Public Library website. That's where we're broadcasting out of every day, Monday through Friday anyway. I do want to tell you, let me refresh that screen so I can bring our slides back. This is what I want to talk to you about. Not Salad in a Jar Cooking Club, although you should come down to that too. Actually, the bag sale's going on now. Fill a bag for $5. That is going on until tomorrow. The inventory has been well picked over. Yeah, you'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Jamie? I mean, we had a lot of boxes out there, a lot of paperbacks, tons of hardcover. We're getting down to the nitty, but there's still plenty to choose from. And I would say, come on down and fill a bag, make a deal. $5, basically all you can carry at that point. If you can fit it in the bag, it's going home with you. So. A lot of paperbacks left and a lot of CDs. I saw quite a few music CDs out there too. So come on down and check it out. It'll be on our tables by the community room up to tomorrow. They'll probably start breaking it down tomorrow night, I have to assume. So all that's put on by the Friends of the Cedarburg Public Library, and that also is who helps make this show possible. We sure appreciate them. Thank you, Friends of the Library. Heidi, I should mention Heidi. Heidi May does such a fantastic job. She's our Friends, kind of the head of the Friends, I guess. I don't know if we call it. Well, she's at least in charge of the sales, so that's pretty critical. And Heidi is wonderful and just does so much for your library here in town. If you see Heidi May, say thank you for doing all those wonderful things for the library and for the city of Cedarburg. Okay, folks, I survived my first Jackless Jack Henke show. It was fun. I had a good time, and I didn't get insulted once. Well, no, Lisa, I think, got one dig in, but So tomorrow, tune in where I will get Jack will probably do double time tomorrow and really rake me over the coals. And of course, we will send our best wishes to Mrs. Henke, Jack's mom. Had a little fall, I think, and so hopefully she's on the mend right away and feeling better. We send her our best. Okay, folks, that's the show. We're going to go run a library now.
Absolutely.
Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. That is, it's Patty Galoon Hansen Day. Well, you don't want to miss that. So come on back. Thanks, everybody. Should get a podcast version of this show up today later if you just want to hear the audio only and not see this glorious mug. All right.
God.
Have a good day,
Turn
folks.
the show off.
Jamie's became Jack. Oh, my. Bye-bye, all.